It's not playing on this thing right here.
The meeting.
It's on here, but it's not playing. Oh, the headphone might be dead. It's already in.
We'll just play it for a little while. Maybe it'll pick up afterwards.
What day is today? Saturday. Yesterday, Friday. They have a meeting. The meeting, like it was a blood meeting. And the meeting was about me and Thug. You and Thug. Me and Young Thug. But the whole time, I'm telling her like, what Thug got to do with this, bro? Young Thug was just Thug. Young Thug, the rapper. I'm like, what he got to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him. Like, you know, he with you. I'm like, bro, it ain't no beef, bro. Like, I can stand y'all niggas out there. You know, don't pay me no attention. I'll pay y'all no attention. Nah, listen, man. But there was a guy that was at me. Said that was the guy down the road. Oh, he's supposed to say kill me and Young Thug. So I asked, I got 10 minutes on my phone. I text Nate on the phone like, hey, bro, y'all gonna kill me and Thug? And I said, let's say, ha ha ha. And he like, bro, what you talking about? Like, ain't that like you said? So another guy talking like, ain't that like you said? I'm like, okay, they just lying. He like, yeah. So next thing you know,
I'm going to stop it at 3:07:39. Mr. Copeland, you're the person who brought up Thug, correct?
I guess so.
Detective Thorpe never brought up Thug, correct?
Right, correct.
Matter of fact, he had to clarify who you were talking about, correct?
Yes.
All right. So
remember how I was telling you that I take a little bit of piece of the truth?
So again, when it has to deal with Thug, that part is a lie. But you being on the plate isn't a lie. But Thug being on the plate is a lie. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is, when I wasn't raised to tell the truth to the police. So, whatever. Okay. If you listen to what I said in the interview, I said, what Thug have to do with this? So if it was about me and Thug, why would I be saying what Thug had to do with it? Shit, I would already know.
Okay. But this is because this was a gang meeting that they were putting you on the plate, correct?
I ain't never been on no plate.
Okay. They wanted to kill you and Thug. That's what you told the detective.
Yes, that's what I told the detective.
Right. Now, also on cross-examination, do you recall talking about meetings that you had with the state of Georgia multiple times? Do you remember talking about meetings that you had with Ms. Love, with me, with Investigator Long? Do you remember that?
Yes.
All right. Now, across, do you remember Mr. Steele asking you about when I, Ms. Love, met with you at the Fayette County Jail?
Okay.
Right. And do you remember that line of questioning?
If you said the same way he did, I will. I remember him asking about y'all though.
All right. Now, when we met, do you recall it being me, Ms. Love, and actually Investigator Viverito that met with you at the Fayette County Jail?
Which time?
The only time that I ever met you at the Fayette County Jail.
You only came once?
Do you recall me coming to the Fayette County Jail one time to meet with you?
I thought you came more than once.
Okay. Do you remember going to?
I'm telling you what I remember. I thought you came more than once.
That's fine. Do you remember me coming with Ms. Love and Investigator Viverito?
I thought you came with Ms. Love and Ms. Rolette and Long.
Okay, we'll talk about that meeting because that did happen, but I wasn't there. But we'll talk about that too.
Sustained.
In November, do you remember us meeting in November of 2022? Sure. Do you remember us meeting in November of 2022?
I remember you down there. We were laughing. Yeah.
Okay. And that was the first time we ever met. Would you agree? That
was the first time I ever seen you.
Okay. And do you remember I was standing on the back wall because I didn't know who you were?
Yes.
You were standing on a wall over to the side.
I remember you was quiet most of the time.
Okay. And Ms. Love and Investigator Viverito were standing on the other side of you. Do you remember that?
They were sitting by each other, I think.
Yes. And do you remember telling me you don't know me, so you were being very observant of what I would say to you? Do you recall that?
I'm more watching me Verito.
Okay. And why were you watching Investigator Verito?
Because she had her phone in her hand, trying to be slick.
And what did you think was happening with the phone in her hand?
Y'all was trying to trick me again.
Okay. And we say trick you again. What do you mean?
Well, not y'all, but the state was trying to trick me again.
Okay. And when we met, did you tell us that you did not want to testify?
I think so.
Yep. And did you told us that you had left all this stuff in the past?
This sound like something I say.
Okay. And did you tell us that you were upset because when you needed our help, we didn't help you?
I guess.
Do you remember talking to us about Gaither not helping you out back in 2015?
I guess.
Do you remember telling us that we should have got your testimony back then when you were really willing to help us out?
I guess.
Do you remember talking to Ms. Love about a case that she worked on with one of your friends?
I most definitely do.
Okay.
And she denied it.
All right. And do you remember us talking about the fact that you wanted to write a book?
No, I told you I wrote a book.
And that you wanted to get it published, correct?
I said I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to put it out because it had too much violence in it.
Okay. And is that what you told us? It had too many bodies?
Violence.
Oh, okay. And did you tell us that you didn't have a court date and you were trying to get you a court date?
That's what I said. Yeah, I said y'all always stopping me from going to court.
And did we tell you we were going to try to figure out why you didn't have a court date?
Yes.
All right. Isn't it true when we met, we never talked about any details about 2015?
Miss Love tried to.
But we never discussed it, correct?
What you mean?
We never went into details about anything that Little D told you. We never went into details about any of the Club Crucial. We never went into details about the facts of 2015. Isn't that fair?
I'm going to object. This is all testimony. She will not be a witness to what I just said. I'm objecting to this entire life.
You're right.
We did. Becoming a witness.
Overruled. And speak into your mic also when you're making objections. Thank you. They're out. Shocker. All right, we'll let IT know.
But again, we never discussed the facts of that case when we met with you down at the Fayette County Jail.
I don't know. My only concern was telling y'all that y'all were holding me in jail. So I can't really be specific with. I can't recall. You got to tell me what y'all was saying.
Okay. The only thing we talked about was the fact that you did not want to be in Fayette County Jail and you wanted a court date so you can get out of jail. Is that fair?
No, we was in there for a long time.
Right. And we never discussed the facts of the case. Correct?
See, you talking. I think I'm more. I think I'm more talking to Miss Love, and you just because I just remember you just kept standing there and you trying to act like somebody in the hood. So.
Was I just quiet and being myself?
No, you were acting like somebody I grew up with.
Let's focus on what it is that you're trying to have him clarify.
Now, the next time that we met was in May of 2024. Is that fair to say?
I don't keep up with it, time.
Okay. The next time we met is when I met you in Pittsburgh, correct?
I think so.
Okay. And that was with you, me, and Investigator Long, correct?
Yes.
And we met by the train tracks over in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? And when you got into the car, you sat in the back seat, correct?
Yes.
And I was in the front, Long was driving, correct? Or in the driver's seat, correct?
No, he stood outside the car.
And he eventually got inside.
He stood outside. I seen him stand outside the whole time.
And when we first met, I asked you if Melnick was your attorney, correct?
Yes.
And you said you had not talked to him.
No, I said he is my attorney, but I haven't talked to him.
Okay. And you told me that he wasn't your attorney because you had not talked to him, correct?
Huh?
You told me that he wasn't your attorney because you had not talked to him.
I don't know if you rule out a continuing objection.
You may. All right. Can you restate that question? Are you saying was not?
Correct.
So,
Isn't it? I will say.
go ahead.
Yes. Isn't it true that you told me because you all have not talked, he was not your attorney?
No, I had always told y'all he was my attorney. It just, I don't talk to him that much.
Okay. I asked you if you still wanted to talk to me, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And we talked, correct?
Yes.
And it was a cordial meeting, which is that fair to say?
I don't know what that means.
It was a pleasant meeting, is that fair to say?
I pleasure.
It was a good meeting.
I just kept telling y'all, leave me out of this.
Okay.
I just want to move forward my life and let my past be in the past.
And when we met, you did not have any pending criminal charges, correct? You didn't have any criminal cases.
I don't know. I didn't. I know I had just went to court and played to the last case I had open, where I had another one from the jail, but
At the time, you didn't know that had been dismissed. Is that fair?
well, the lawyer just told me they were dismissed.
Okay. And when we met in the car, we also didn't go into the facts of the case, correct?
Well, I told you I was lying, and you told me that you know I wasn't lying.
Okay. Did you tell us that you just did not want to testify?
What you mean?
Did you tell Long and I you did not want to be involved in this case?
Yeah, I don't told the world that. I think so.
Okay. And then when we were finishing, I asked if we can meet again on Monday. You remember that?
I guess.
And you told me I'll pray about it. Is that fair?
Sound like something I say.
Okay. And we called you on Monday and you did not want to speak to us. Is that fair? All right. Then,
No, I don't know, because I still end up down here.
and you came down here later that week, correct? On about Wednesday,
Tuesday.
on Tuesday of that week. Thank you. And when we met on that Tuesday, correct?
I was down here. I don't know if I can't remember if it was you I met with, but I was down here with y'all.
Okay. And when we met, you told us you did not want to testify and that you just wanted us to play the tapes, correct?
Because that's what y'all wanted. That's what y'all said y'all wanted. Listen, man, I don't know. I don't know these trick questions that you asked me or what, but you know what me and you talked about.
Okay.
And I told you that I done lied on these people and you know, got me up here. You talking about I put my hand up to God to tell the truth and I'm lying, but you can't tell me what I'm lying about and telling the truth about.
When you asked me to just play the tapes, I told you I couldn't just play the tapes, that you had to testify.
Oh, I can't.
I'm making a continuing objection. It's really unfair unless Ms. Silva's going to become a witness. I cannot answer any question. I have no report on it.
So he can say, yeah, that's right. He can say, no, that's not right. He can say, I don't remember. He can say, here's what really happened. I mean, it's not testimony, it's questions. And I have and will again instruct the jury that what the attorneys ask is not testimony, it's not evidence. So I understand, and you continue to have your continuing objection, and it continues to be overruled.
And when I met with you, Investigator Long was present, correct?
When?
Back in June when you came down to the courthouse.
Oh, yes, I think so.
And when we met, did I go over with you in front of Investigator Long my understanding of the events leading up to Donovan Thomas's murder?
Object to the relevance of prosecutors' understanding of events that she wasn't present.
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure. Did we talk about the events leading up to Donovan Thomas's murder?
I honestly can't remember.
Okay. Do you recall telling me that I had most of it correct, but there were some things I had wrong?
I don't remember saying. Yeah, I think I told you y'all don't got y'all facts together, but I don't know.
Okay. And do you recall telling me that some of the facts that we didn't have together was the fact that you had stolen Donovan Thomas's stuff?
What you mean?
Did you tell me?
You talking too aggressive right now, and it's frustrating me.
Did you tell me that The one thing that I did not have correct is that you were the person that stole Donovan Thomas's belongings.
I guess.
Okay. Did you also tell me that when I asked you about the shooting with Thug and Nard in the car on the night that you got into the fight with Kel at Club Crucial, that I didn't have all of my facts together regarding the shooting with Thug and Nard? Did you tell me that?
I don't get what you're saying.
Sure. Do you recall telling the detectives about a shooting with Thug and Nard in the car, and you and your brother was in another car, and you saw Nard with a gun, and he racked it, and when you started driving away, you heard shots being fired?
I told it to you here?
No. Did you tell that to the police?
To in the interrogation room?
Yes.
Oh, I tell the police anything.
Okay. Do you remember telling me that I didn't have all of those details correct?
No, I don't remember telling you that.
Okay. Do you remember me telling you that I had to tell the defense everything that you told me that was different?
You said, only thing you told the defense?
Do you remember me telling you that I would have to tell the defense anything that you told me that was different than what was in the interviews?
And that's when I switched it up.
And that's why you were mad, because you did not want me to tell the defense the things that you told me that were different.
Nah, I didn't want you to tell them what I said because I didn't want them to tell on me.
Okay.
So when you said that, I was like, don't say that, because I don't want to be exposed.
And speaking about that, when we met, did you tell me that your biggest concern was what the defense knew about you?
About the things I did?
Yes.
Right.
And did you tell me I don't have a problem testifying for y'all? I'm more concerned about what they know about me.
I'm concerned about both of y'all because they can. It ain't. Cause I mean, people. I don't know. It's just, man, I don't know. You got me up here and
you keep telling me that you keep testifying that you kept telling us that you lied. Is that fair? Do you recall me asking you, what do you lie
Yes.
about? What do you lie about?
You thought I was gonna tell you?
Okay. And then I ask you, are you talking about like lying to your girlfriend? What are you talking about?
Because I wanted y'all to cause y'all put me in here and I constantly told you. I know I just told you every time you talk, like I don't lie. So y'all put me up here and y'all be expecting me to remember the lies I done told. Yeah, I better remember the truth.
And remember when we met, you've never told me any lie that you said back in 2015. Is that fair?
All the time, to be honest with you, you ask me these questions. Anytime I think about anytime me and you met, it was just some laughing, hee ha ha. Like I don't. Shit, you played on me.
Because we were always cordial with one another. Is that fair to say?
If that's what it means.
We were always on good terms with each other, correct?
Yes.
Now, do you recall also telling me that the defense may have a video with you and others bragging about killing Nut? Do you remember telling me that there might be a video that the defense has that it's you and others bragging about, we killed Nut?
What about it?
Do you remember telling me that?
I told you that?
Do you remember me asking you, if the video exists, can I have a copy of it?
Huh?
Do you remember me asking you, if this video exists, would you give me a copy of it?
I don't even. Shit, when I heard it, them people say it over there, I ain't know y'all. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't recall.
So last week when Mr. Steele asked you if there was a video about saying you killed Nut, that wasn't the video, correct? There was a video maybe that said we killed Nut, correct?
What video y'all have?
Is this the video that you said the defense may have?
I haven't seen no video. Y'all ain't showed me none.
During these meetings that we had with each other, at any point, did you ever tell me that what little D told you about the night of Donovan Thomas's murder was a lie?
I don't even, me and you, only time me and you talk about it, it was just like, I told you that I made it up. And you were like, which part did I make up? And I was like, let D get into my car saying that this happened. And then you was like, so let D never got in your car and said that they killed, and I was like, no. And you was like, why is this my first time saying it? And I was like, because I was scared. And then you was like, so you asked me about Noah, and I was telling her I didn't know him for real, and I just made it up. And you was like, and then you were like, well, I gotta let the defense know. And I was like, damn, you gonna tell them? And then you were like, I have to. And then I was just like, damn, don't tell them because the defense already saying that, you know what I mean, too much that they don't need to be saying.
Okay. Isn't it true that it wasn't until you were about to testify that you told me some different things about what happened that night at McDonald's?
Because you made me feel comfortable.
Okay. And that is when you told me that it wasn't Nard that got into your car. It was Little D and Shannon that got into your car.
Huh?
Do you remember telling me on the day that you were going to testify that it wasn't Nard that got into your car on the day that Donovan Thomas passed away, but it was Little D and Shannon that got into your car?
I don't get what you're asking me.
Sure. Do you remember telling me, switching your story up, that it
No, I didn't switch my story, but I came forward. You made me feel comfortable, and I let you know, like, I lied. The D never told me nobody killed nobody when he got in my car.
Did you ever tell me what you told me on June 7th, 2024, that Little D didn't say anything to you? That's what you told me, correct?
You just confused me again.
Sure. When we met in June of 2024, that's when you told me that Little D didn't say anything to you. That was the first time you ever said that, correct?
You said that was the first time I ever told anybody that?
Yes.
So I guess I don't get, like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It was only in June of this year, that was the first time you ever said that Little D did not tell you anything in the car, correct?
Because you the first person I ever spoke with that made me feel like you went after me. So it was like, you made me feel comfortable to let it be known that, shit, I lied. So I felt like you was somebody I knew. Okay. And I wanted to tell the truth to you that I made it up.
All right. Also, during these meetings, did you tell me multiple times that you did not kill Nut when we met?
Say that again?
When we met previously, did you tell me multiple times that you did not kill Nut?
Yeah, I think I told you that.
Okay. And did I tell you that there was other evidence that supported what you told me? What?
Sustained.
Did I tell you that, excuse me, strike that. Did I discuss with you that I could not show you any other evidence because you were a witness?
Huh?
Did I tell you that I could not show you any other evidence because you were a witness in this case?
No, you showing me the pictures and stuff and the phone calls that you're going to use. That's what you're talking about?
I did show you that. Was there other evidence I told you that I could not show you because you were a witness?
I don't remember.
Now, Mr. Shard on cross-examination asked you if I showed you all of your interviews prior to trial. Do you remember that?
Can you say it again?
Do you remember last week, Mr. Shard asking you if I showed you all of your interviews prior to trial? Do you remember that?
Can you just ask me this question? I don't.
Do you remember Mr. Shard last week asking you if I showed you all 6 of your interviews prior to
If
trial?
you showed me the interviews, what about it?
Do you remember Mr. Shard asking you if I showed them to you? Do you, Mr. Copeland, would you have sat down and watched 21 hours of interviews with me if I asked you to?
I don't even want to sit down right here and listen to y'all now.
Now, Mr. Copeland, after we met in June, you were supposed to testify on June 7th, 2024. Do you remember that?
All I know is I jump when y'all tell me to jump.
On that day, when you were supposed to testify, do you remember pleading the fifth?
Oh, when y'all locked me up?
When you got locked up because you pled the fifth. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
I never forget it.
All right. And you went to the Fulton County Jail, correct?
That's where y'all took me to.
And then you went to the DeKalb County Jail, correct?
That's where they took me to.
And then on Monday, June 10th, there was a meeting in the judge's chambers. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that meeting was with you. Slow down. Sure. On that Monday, June 10th, there was a meeting in judge's chambers, correct?
Yes.
And that meeting was with you. You were there.
Yes.
Your attorney, Ms. Bumpus, was there.
And you was there.
I was there. Investigator Long was there.
Yes.
Okay. Another investigator, Hamilton, was there.
Trying to little short bald head dude?
Yes.
Yes.
And there were some sheriff's deputies, correct?
A lot of them.
All right. And the purpose of that meeting was to explain to you what would get you out of jail, correct?
I don't know. I don't know the purpose of it.
Okay. Did we discuss you getting out of jail?
We've been there for a long time.
And did we discuss you getting out of jail?
Yeah.
All right.
It was some of it.
And do you remember Mr. Shar and Mr. Steele asking you about those meetings last week?
I remember, I don't know which one asked me, but I remember being asked about it.
And isn't it true that there were some details missing from what they asked you last week?
You tell me.
During this meeting, were you able to talk to your attorney, Ms. Bumpus, on multiple occasions?
She sat right there with me the whole time.
And were there times when we left and you were able to talk to her by yourself?
I whispered in her ear.
Okay. But were there times when I left the room, the judge left the room, and you and Ms. Bumpus were in there and the two of you talked by yourself?
I think y'all probably left out before. I can't really remember.
And did I tell you in that interview that the only reason why you were in jail is because you pled the fifth?
That sounds like something you said.
And did I also tell you that so long as you testify that you would not be in jail?
Huh?
Did I also tell you that so long as you testified, you would not be in jail?
Well, me and you going back and forth.
Okay. And did I tell you that so long as you testified, you would not be in jail?
Yeah, but I was explaining to you why I didn't want to testify.
And did I tell you multiple times in that interview that the state of Georgia did not want you to be in jail?
That sounds like something you said.
Okay. And I didn't just say it one time, I said it. Do you need some water?
Nah, I've been coughing all weekend.
Did I say it to you multiple times in that interview that we did not want you in jail?
I think you said the whole time.
Now, in that meeting, did I also tell you that I expected you to tell the truth?
And I told you that. I don't lie. If you keep going to the past, if you want me to tell the truth, you can't ask me about what I done told the police because when you know what I mean, I'm just going with the flow.
And do you also remember during that meeting, your attorney asking me if he gets on the stand and says things that aren't true, would I be okay with that?
If I wasn't talking, I don't know.
Do you recall Ms. Bumpus, your attorney, saying, if he says something, you're right, it'll be effect on it. If he says he did something and you know he's not telling the truth, what happens? And my response to you is, if he said he did something and he did not do that thing, and she said to me, if you believe he did not, so if you believe that he's lying about that, then I said, then no. If he admits to doing something on the stand and he did not do that thing, I'm going to ask him, this is the first time you're saying that. And she asked, and you have independent evidence to prove it wasn't him, then what? Then nothing. What do you mean? So she said, so you're okay with him if he got on the stand and said things?
Ms. Hilton, get to the question.
Is it true that I said, no, I want him to tell the truth. What have I always said to you? I want you to tell the truth. I don't know what's going to come out your mouth, but I expect you to tell the truth. Is that what I said to you?
You told me that if I say I killed Donovan Thomas and I ain't kill him, you're going to lock me up. You said that if I plead the fifth, you're going to lock me up. And from my understanding, whatever I had to say didn't matter. From my understanding.
And let's talk about the part about Donovan Thomas, correct? Do you recall me saying to you, and this was when, we talk a lot about perjury back in the chambers.
What's the other word is, too, that I was saying?
Purge. Remember we talked about
Them
perjury?
two different words. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do you remember us talking about perjury, and perjury meaning lying on the stand?
I always get confused, but you know it.
Okay. And did you have your attorney ask me multiple times, if you testify and say something that I know isn't true, what would happen?
What you mean?
Did Ms. Bumpus ask me on multiple occasions, if you testify and say something that I know isn't true, what would happen?
You told me I don't know. I was trying to get it down pat what you were saying, but cause you kept going back and forth about it, cause I wasn't understanding it, the purge and perjury, cause it sounded the same to me.
Okay.
And I was telling you that the stuff I said in the past was a lie. You gotta ask me now. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. When the judge was not present, and it was just you, me, Investigator Long, and the sheriff's deputies, and your attorney, did I ask you, did you plan on taking the stand and saying that you killed Nut to help your friends out because you had immunity? Did I ask you that?
I think, I don't know if you asked me that, but I know I told you that I'm not admitted to no crimes.
Okay. And did you tell me you were not going to admit that you killed Nut?
Yeah, I'm not going to admit that.
Okay. And did I then tell you that if you planned on claiming a murder that you did not do, that is when you would be charged with perjury?
That's what you just said. That's what I just said. You said.
All right.
If I said it right. And you asked me, when you questioned me, did I did? And I told you no.
So you talking about killing Nut, that, at no point did I ever tell you if you just admit to killing Nut, you'll be charged with perjury. Did I ever tell you that?
I don't understand you.
I apologize. I know I don't object. Entire 10 minutes has been Prosecutor Hilton putting her credibility before the jury without being questioned at all. I can't question. So I object to this entire line of questioning.
I understand. Yes, sir, Mr. Short. No, it is not. She's not even asking him things about the transcript right now. She's asking him things that happened not on the transcript.
Now, last week, I believe Mr. Shard asked you if I told you you could say I don't recall to every question. Do you remember him asking you that?
He pissed me off too, so I got frustrated when he was talking to me.
Do you remember your attorney asking me, can he say I don't recall to every question? And
Come on. Which lawyer?
Ms. Bumpus, in that June meeting.
I don't.
Do you recall Ms. Bumpus saying, can he say I don't recall to every question? And my response to her was, I will hope that is not the truth, because I think there are some things you do recall and some things you don't. But the things you don't recall, you don't recall. And I will go through my process of what I do. Do you recall me telling your attorney that?
See, y'all don't understand. Like, I think don't nobody in this courtroom know how I feel to be sitting right here. It ain't about what I recall, what I remember, what I don't remember. It's the functioning of my brain as I'm sitting up here. It's like, I'm trying to answer y'all, but my brain is in and out. Like, I don't, you feel me? Like, I can't, you ask me, it's how you asking me the question. It better than I'm trying to comprehend what you saying and then answer truthfully, but it sounds like a trick question because I don't know how to answer these questions. When me and you talk without being in the courtroom, you taught me on a level where I can understand you good. But when you get right here, the question that you asked me made me feel like I'm in an interrogation room, so I don't know how to answer your questions.
In that meeting, back in June, a few months ago, do you remember me telling you that I just want you to be truthful?
Yes.
Okay. And do you
Overruled.
And do you remember me saying to you, I don't know what your current truth is, but I know what you told the police back in 2015?
Personal observations of a non-witness.
Overruled.
Do you remember having that conversation in the judge's chambers?
Yeah, because I told you that. Y'all don't y'all don't know that. Like, y'all don't know. And you said that your mouth that, yeah, you're right. We don't know what you're going to say and what your truth is. So.
And do you remember me telling your attorney to talk to you about what impeachment is?
I thought that was the same word as the other perjury, whatever.
But
Ain't it the same?
I can't answer that question for you, but do you remember, did I tell your attorney to talk to you about impeachment?
Talk to me about impeachment?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know most of the time we was talking like, my only thing was I was in jail and I didn't understand what was going on. I just felt like, I don't know.
Now, also in that meeting, you said, I did these crimes. Do you remember saying that I did these crimes?
Because I don't want my family I don't want my nephews and them to hear the stuff that I did.
Okay. When you said you did these crimes, what crimes were you talking about?
I don't recall.
When you say you don't recall, what do you mean?
That I ain't speaking on it.
Were these crimes that occurred back in 2015 or crimes that happened more recently?
I don't commit crimes. I changed my life.
So when you said I did these crimes and Mr. Steele asked you about that, or Mr. Shard, what crimes were you talking about that you did?
I guess the ones in my dream, the nightmares, whatever. I don't know. I don't get what you're asking me.
In that June interview, not interview, in that June meeting that happened a few months ago, and Mr. Steele or Mr. Shard asked you about this last week, you said, I did these crimes, I'm telling you that. And my response to you was, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm asking you today, what crimes were you talking about back in June that you said you committed?
I ain't committed no crimes.
Are you saying you haven't committed any crimes recently?
The crimes I committed for, y'all locked me up for them.
Okay. So then when you said I did these crimes, were you talking about things that happened in 2015?
I'm talking about the crimes y'all caught me for.
Okay. And to be clear, were you talking about any crimes that are charged in this present indictment?
I'm not a part of it, so I don't know. I never read this indictment and don't want to read it or hear nothing about it.
And let's be fair. Were you in custody between June 10th, 2015 and February 2019?
Can you say that again?
Were you in custody between June 10th of 2015 to February 28th, 2019?
February 28th,
Yes. God bless you.
2019?
Yes. God bless you.
Can you
When did you get out of federal custody?
September 12th, 22nd, one of them days, 2019.
Okay. And were you also incarcerated from May 13th, 2020 to May 11th, 2021?
I went back to jail. I did over a year.
Do you remember then going back to jail June 15th, 2021 to July 24th, 2021?
Yes.
Okay.
You said from when?
June 15th, 2021 to July 24th, 2021.
You said from June to July?
June 15th of 2021 to July 24th of 2021.
So what you saying, I did a month in jail?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I remember going back to jail, and both times I went back to jail after I got the feds, I was in there longer than a year.
All right. Do you remember then getting arrested in October of 2021 and then being released in February of 2022?
You said October,
Yes.
and then getting released in a year later?
And let me say, going to prison in February of 2022.
2022. Yeah, I went, yeah.
And you stayed in prison until August of 2022. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
23,
And then you were transferred back to Fulton County in August of 2022, and you were in jail until March of 2023. Is that fair?
yes, they sound like it.
And you've been out since March of 2023, correct?
Until y'all locked me up for pleading the fifth.
And you spent the weekend in jail.
Yes.
All right. Now let's talk about this October 2021 interview. On cross-examination, do you remember Mr. Steele playing a number of jail calls for you?
Yes.
Shake your head, yes.
Yes.
And do you recall those jail calls being from December of 2022 to about February of 2023?
From December to February? Okay, yes.
Okay. And do you recall 3 of those jail calls were from February of 2023?
Shit, I guess.
And do you remember the 3 jail calls that Mr. Steele played for you? That was after the October 2021 interview that you did with Investigator Viverito was released. Do you remember that?
I guess.
Now, this is the interview that you told Mr. Sharp last week you thought that the state of Georgia released, correct?
I believe it.
All right. Now, you had a total of 6 interviews with the Atlanta Police Department. Is that fair? 5 from 2015, and then 1 from October of 2021. Is that fair?
I don't keep up with it.
Okay. Do you remember watching 5 interviews in court?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I don't want to watch them no more.
Okay. And the only one you did not watch was the October one. Is that fair?
Please tell me we're not about to watch another one.
Is that fair that you have not watched
Yes.
the October one?
Yes, I have watched it. The world watched it too.
Okay. The only video that was ever leaked was the one from October, correct?
Yes.
Did you know, or are you aware that between the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and the Atlanta Police Department that we've had that October 2021 interview since the day it was recorded?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Are you aware that between the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and the Atlanta Police Department that we've had that October 2021 interview from the day that you sat down and did the interview?
Yes.
Did you know that we had the interview for 16 months in our possession before it was released?
Yes.
Did you know that we served that particular interview in discovery in January of 2023?
Yeah. I think I've got it.
I
Ms.
believe it
Hilton.
is relevant to the assertion that defense counsel made last week when they opened the door as far as who released this interview. They questioned him. You're right. We objected.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is not a fair characterization. There was questioning about it.
And we objected to it, and it was overruled, Your Honor. And he was allowed to answer it, and so we are following up on the ability that he was able to answer that question, Your Honor.
Follow.
I don't oppose that. It was on a jail call, but I would like to ask questions of the prosecutor. Because this is testifying.
All right, it's not testifying. Ms. Hilton, rephrase your question.
Are you aware that that interview was given to defense in January of 2023?
No.
Are you aware that the video was released within 30 days of it being given to the defense?
I would object if they have any evidence they can bring it forward in court.
Overruled.
Are you aware that after the video was released,
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, previously, the predecessor court came to the court's attention that there was a release of what I'll call discovery. So it's October 27, 2021. And it's a recording of an interrogation of Mr. Copeland. And it was very harmful to Mr. Williams. The part that was released that I'm aware of, and I believe Mr. Adams, unless he corrects me, just has lies, what I can say lies, about Mr. Williams ordering people to die. It was very harmful. I asked Judge Glanville, predecessor judge, for relief and a bond because it denied Mr. Williams' right to a fair trial. The predecessor judge said there's going to be an independent investigation of who released that and that he would get to the bottom of it. I never heard back from that. A jail call, I listened to all
next question because I didn't know he got beat up in the jail. Your Honor, last week when Mr. Shard, I believe, asked.
So, let me interrupt you a second. He may not have. That may not be accurate. I don't have any personal knowledge, or I was not told that.
Last week when Mr. Shard asked this, he went down a line of questioning about this call being released. And Mr. Shard asked Mr. Copeland who was his belief, what was his belief of who released this recording. And the state objected, saying that it wasn't relevant who he believed released this video. The court overruled the state's objection. He was able to answer that question, which was he believed it was the state. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we believe that it is proper for the same reason that he was able to disparage that the state will release such a video.
Okay, you need to be careful about what you're saying because there are questions from the attorneys and then there are answers from the witness stand, and that's what the evidence is. And I do not believe that anybody on the defense side made the suggestion that the state had released it. I mean, the transcript will reflect what was asked and what was answered, but...
And maybe not disparage is the right word, but the question was asked, who do you believe released the video? And he says, I believe it was the state of Georgia. I believe that an appropriate line of questioning, Your Honor, is would he feel differently if he thought that the defense leaked it? And to give questioning about what his understanding of, what Mr. Copeland's understanding is of what happened and what transpired when this video was released.
Well, we already know what Mr. Copeland's belief and understanding is.
But would it change if
that's not what you asked, though?
But I had to give some foundational questions in order to ask that question. In order to answer what my next question is. Because another question I'm going to ask him, and it's something he alluded to earlier, was that after this video was released, Ms. Love, Investigator Long, Ms. Rolek all visited with him after this video was released to check on him, to make sure that he was okay. And he alluded to that earlier when he thought I was present at the meeting. And all of this happened around the time that the video was leaked. And so I was asking some foundational questions to Mr. Copeland to see if his position would be different if he thought that someone else leaked it and not the state of Georgia.
Then you should ask that question.
And I can get to that series of questions, Your Honor, but I don't...
I mean, you are coming very, very close to the line with this line of questioning. I mean, you're basically, the defense is not far off. Let's just put it that way.
So I can move to my last two questions regarding this, which is who came to visit him after the video was released, and would he feel differently if he believed that the defense leaked the video?
No, I'm not going to let you ask that last question at this point. I mean, that's a total hypothetical question. That is an assumes facts, not an evidence question. Not the objection you keep making.
Your Honor, I feel compelled to just make a brief record. First of all, any insinuation that I asked a question about the release is way off. That topic never even came up during my cross.
You know what, and I know you're not finished, but let me just say that I believe that this jury is paying attention and that they have enough wherewithal to remember what actually happened, and for questions that are potentially misleading, I'm not sure why they're being asked, but I think the jury's going to take note of what got said, and I understand, but you know, I think the jury is doing what they have been told to do, which is to pay attention to the evidence, not the questions.
And second, Your Honor, I just want Your Honor to understand kind of the backdrop here. I guess it was released. I don't even remember the time that it was released, but apparently it was on social media. When that came to the attention of the court, to my recollection, from my vantage point, yelled at the defense, and this was prior judge, and essentially blamed us, and all of us were saying, well, we didn't do anything. I personally don't even know how to release a video to the press or to the internet anyways. But, you know, I just went along with it. Okay, there's going to be an investigation. We're being told we're under investigation. And then all of a sudden, no one mentions the investigation anymore. And it's kind of like, well, if you're accused of something, you would like to know the progress of said investigation.
I'm certainly happy to ask the predecessor chambers what's gone on with it, if anything, but that's not really relevant to what's before this jury.
Well, it's not until the state, knowing that there was an investigation, knowing that they haven't heard of any findings, then lights this thing on fire again and start suggesting that we did something wrong. And, you know, I can only speak for myself. I don't believe anyone did anything wrong on this side. I know I didn't. And then somehow those insinuations are coming out in front of the jury with absolutely no basis. And I'm going to join my my friend Mr. Steele, and I'm going to state my place that I believe the state at this point is goading a mistrial and goading us to move for a mistrial. So I just think that was very inappropriate, and it suggested things that there is just no basis. And in fact, there's apparently been an investigation, and it's been settled as far as I know.
Well, I don't know what has happened, if anything, with that. But would you like to address the assertion that you are goading the defense into a mistrial?
Yes, Your Honor. Number one.
Right, into a motion for mistrial.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Number one, we don't want a mistrial. We vehemently object to a mistrial, and we do believe that the line of questioning, whether it was posed by Mr. Sharp or Mr. Steele regarding Mr. Copeland's belief about who leaked that video, was, one, not relevant, but understanding that the court ruled as it did, we believe that an inquiry whether his belief that the state leaked the video had some impact on how he decided to testify would be a valid question.
And that's, again, not what y'all asked.
Understood, Judge, understood. But I vehemently object to a mistrial. I do not believe that anyone here at this table has done anything, anyone at this table or on the state's behalf has done anything to in any way merit, warrant, call for, justify a mistrial. So we definitely object to a mistrial. And, Your Honor, as it relates to the assertion that counsel for the state have somehow made themselves a witness, repeatedly the witness has affirmed that there were people in the room whom either counsel for the defense could call without having to disqualify either prosecutor in this case. So that being obvious, we definitely object to a mistrial, and additionally, we object to the speaking objections that are being made while the jury is in the box.
All right, well, I'm going to overrule that objection. I don't think that is going on. Sometimes it's just not particularly clear what the objection is, and if I need further elucidation, then I have permitted that. But I'm going to overrule the motion for mistrial and, or deny the motion for mistrial and deny the motion to remove either Ms. Hilton or Ms. Love from the case. I do think that it appears from the questions that there was somebody else present at every meeting. But, you know, Ms. Hilton, that's another option as well. Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you.
Okay. All right.
Try that one.
All right, can you hear me?
That works.
All right. Your Honor, I want to add that we cannot question any other individual that was at that meeting about Ms. Hilton and the way that she asked some of her questions and made her comments. Let me give you an example. Ms. Hilton said, "I was standing to the side because I didn't know you." That's her feelings. That's her reasoning on why she was standing where she was standing. Ms. Hilton also said, I was just being me. I can't ask Detective anyone in reference to that.
Hang on, sorry. I mean, I think that each of those was not a statement, it was a question. It was a cross-examination question. They were, and was this essentially like, is this your recollection, or is this what happened? So it was not her testifying. I'm overruling that objection.
All right, and I just want to add that she also said the purpose of the ex parte meeting. So there's no way that
He said, I have no idea what the purpose of that meeting was. So, I mean, I understand, but it's overruled. Thank you for the additional making of the record. Anything else? All right, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and take our restroom break as well, and let's try to be back as quickly as possible because the jury's already been out for 15 minutes.
Excuse me. Wow. Turn the echo down. But wow. So I sincerely believe that this judge is like she's gonna do whatever she can to protect the state in this case, in this trial. It's pretty sad. I mean, she is literally doing any and everything that she can to keep these attorneys, these prosecutors protected, keep this case going on, keep this shit show rolling. It's insane, man. This is insane. I'm from Georgia, like, I mean, granted, I don't represent the state of Georgia. God damn, boy, they're making our state look like pure shit show. Real. Man, this is insane, man. The state literally showed up today, tried to get this case thrown out. And the judge is like, nah, I don't think so. Whatever. This is crazy. I think I'm gonna keep the same.
Man, I'm learning so much. It's so cool. Yeah, this YSL Trial. Ooh. It, it proves the great. Oh man, I need to get up and stretch. Or probably not. Stretching, stretching. Actually, I need to go to the barber. I think I might go to the barber. I'm gonna go to the barber. But supposedly tomorrow I'm gonna be in a video shoot as a model. Supposedly. And a whole lot of information was given to me. But we will see. Said the blind man. Got to take a dump. Say that I need to do. Oh yeah, I need to take a shit. Oh, I need to shit. Say that I need to shit. I need to shit. I gotta do. I need to boo boo. I feel it crawling in my intestines. Ooh. We're just waiting for Trial to come back. Or Court to return, I should say. While we're waiting to. Oh, the lead attorney.
Case. I'm not trying to stop you.
He just asked for Attorney Hilton to be removed from the case.
Yeah.
He says that he wants Attorney Hilton in the witness chair where Woody is to be able to ask her questions, get her off the case. My man Brian Steele is going in. Let's go.
I mean, this is not new. So I asked the prosecution that specifically and Ms. Love to remove the case. I have questioned both of them. I also like to renew my motion I recall predecessor. That's my entire objection. The mistrial motion, I don't want this trial. I don't want it. And now the last question had to be with the intent of casting aspersions on not only Mr. Williams, but I presume everybody else here by saying that we're releasing information, which I assume it is not true. So I don't want to go too far. But the next question will be, and you got to beat Mr. Colbert after you release that as intimidation. So those are my motion for this trial that I don't want. Don't want the motion for this trial, but I feel helpful.
That was going to be my next question. I didn't know he got beat up in the jail. Your Honor, last week when Mr. Shard, I believe, asked.
He may not have. I may not be acting. I don't have any personal knowledge where I was not told that.
Last week when Mr. Shard asked he went down a line of questioning about this call being released. And Mr. Shard asked Mr. Coleman, who was his belief? What was his belief of who released this recording? And the state objected, saying that it wasn't relevant who he believed released this video. The court overruled the state's objection. He was able to answer that question, which was he believed it was the state. And at this point, we believe that it is proper for the same reason that he was able to disparage that the state will release such a video.
Okay, you need to be careful about what you're saying because there are questions from the attorneys and then there are answers from the witness stand, and that's what the evidence is. And I do not believe that anybody on the defense side made the suggestion that the state had released it. I mean, the transcript will reflect what was asked and what was answered, but.
And maybe not disparage is the right.
Wait, who remembers the mannequin challenge? Who remembers that? Look how when the judge talks, Hilton turns into a mannequin, and look at her right hand. And she does not move while the judge is talking, but look at the hand. Let's go.
Questions from the attorneys, and then there are answers from the witness stand, and that's what the evidence is. And
look at her hand right here. She just didn't move.
I do not believe that anybody on the defense side made the suggestion that the state had released it. I mean, the transcript will reflect what was asked and what was answered, but.
And maybe not disparage is the right word, but the question was asked, who do you believe released the video? And he says, I believe it was the state of Georgia. I believe that an appropriate line of questioning, Your Honor, is would he feel differently if he thought that the defense leaked it? And to give questioning about what his understanding of what Mr. Copeland's understanding is of what happened and what transpired when this video was released.
Well, we already know what Mr. Copeland's belief and understanding is.
But would it change if
that's not what you asked?
But I had to give some foundational questions in order to ask that question. In order to ask what my next question is, because another question I want to ask him, and it's something he alluded to earlier, was that after this video was released, Ms. Love, Investigator Long, Ms. Rolak all visited with him after this video was released to check on him, to make sure that he was okay. And he alluded to that earlier when he thought I was present at the meeting. And all of this happened around the time that the video was leaked. And so I'm asking some foundational questions to Mr. Copeland to see if his position would be different if he thought that someone else leaked it and not the state of Georgia.
Then you should ask that question.
And I can get to that series of questions, Your Honor, but I don't.
I mean, you are coming very, very close to the line with this line of questioning. I mean,
rambling
basically, the defense is not far off. Let's just put it that way.
So I can move to my last two questions regarding this, which is who came to visit him after the video was released, and would he feel differently if he believed that the defense leaked the video?
No, I'm not going to let you ask ask that last question at this point.
That is a bad question.
It's a
Who
totally
cares?
hypothetical question.
Who cares?
Is an assumed facts, not an evidence question. Not the objection you keep making.
Wow, the judge is lighting her up.
But she gonna protect it. The judge,
Your Honor, I
she might
feel
light her up
compelled
right
to just
now,
make
but
a
she
brief
gonna protect it.
First of all, any insinuation that I asked a question about the release is way off. That topic never even came up during my cross.
You know what, and let me, I know you're not finished, but let me just say that I believe that this jury is paying attention and that they have enough wherewithal to remember what actually happened and for questions that are potentially misleading. I'm not sure why they're being asked, but I think the jury's gonna take note of what got said. And I understand, but you know, I think the jury is doing what they have been told to do, which is to pay attention to the evidence, not the questions.
And second, Your Honor, I just want Your Honor to understand kind of the backdrop here. I guess it was released. I don't even remember the time that it was released, but apparently it was on social media. When that came to the attention of the court, to my recollection, from my vantage point, yelled at the defense, and this was prior judge, and essentially blamed us. And all of us were saying, well, we didn't do anything. I personally don't even know how to release a video to the press or the internet anyways. But, you know, I just went along with it.
Okay, that's a lie. All right, everybody knows Shark knows how to post a damn video. But, all right, we're going to keep going, Shark, but, you know, tighten it up now. That's a goddamn lie, but let's go.
Hey, there's going to be an investigation. We're being told we're under investigation. And then all of a sudden, no one mentions the investigation anymore. And it's kind of like, well, if you're accused of something, you would like to know the progress of said investigation.
I'm certainly happy to ask the predecessor chambers what's going on with it, if anything, but that's not really relevant to what's before this jury.
Well, it's not until the state, knowing that there was an investigation, knowing that they haven't heard of any findings, then lights this thing on fire again and start suggesting that we did something wrong. And, you know, I can only speak for myself. I don't believe anyone did anything wrong on this side. I know I didn't. And then somehow those insinuations are coming out in front of the jury with absolutely no basis. And I'm going to join my my friend Mr. Steele, and I'm going to state my place that I believe the state at this point is goading a mistrial and goading us to move for a mistrial. So I just think that was very inappropriate, and it suggested things that there is just no basis. And in fact, there's apparently been an investigation, and it's been settled as far as I know.
I don't know what has happened, if anything, with that. But would you like to address the assertion that you are goading the defense into a mistrial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here we go.
Right into a motion for mistrial.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Number one, we don't want a mistrial. We vehemently object to a mistrial, and we do believe that the line of questioning, whether it was posed by Mr. Sharp or Mr. Steele regarding Mr. Copeland's belief about who released that video, was one, not relevant, but understanding that the court ruled as it did, we believe that an inquiry whether his belief that the state leaked the video had some impact on how he decided to testify would be a valid question.
Long bathroom break.
Understood, Judge, understood. But I vehemently object to a mistrial. I do not believe that anyone here at this table has done anything, anyone at this table or on the state's behalf has done anything to in any way merit, warrant, call for, justify a mistrial. So we definitely object to a mistrial. And Your assertion that counsel for the state have somehow made themselves a witness repeatedly. The witness has affirmed that there were people in the room whom either counsel for the defense could call without having to disqualify either prosecutor in this case. So that being obvious, we definitely object to a mistrial, and additionally, we object to the speaking objections that are being made while the jury is in the box.
All right, well, I'm going to overrule that objection. I don't think that that is going on. Sometimes it's just not particularly clear what the objection is, and if I need further elucidation, then I have permitted that. But I'm going to overrule the motion for mistrial and, or deny the motion for mistrial and deny the motion to remove either Ms. Hilton or Ms. Love from the case. I do think that it appears from the questions that there was somebody else present at every meeting. But, you know, Ms. Hilton, that's another option as well. Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you. Okay. All right. Can you try that one?
All right, can you hear me?
That works.
All right. Your Honor, I want to add that we cannot question any other individual that was at that meeting about Ms. Hilton and the way that she asked some of her questions and made her comments. Let me give you an example. Ms. Hilton said, I was standing to the side because I didn't know you. That's her feelings. That's her reasoning on why she was standing where she was standing. Ms. Hilton also said, I was just being me. I can't ask Detective anyone in reference to that.
Hang on. Sorry. I mean, I think that each of those was not a statement. It was a question. It was a cross-examination question. They were, and was this essentially like, is this your recollection or is this what happened? So it was not her testifying. I'm overruling that objection.
All right, and I just want to add that she also said the purpose of the ex parte meeting. So there's no way that
He said, I have no idea what the purpose of that meeting was. So, I mean, I understand, but it's overruled. Thank you for the additional making of the record. Anything?
Let me just jump right in. So this case is kind of hitting, I mean, it's kind of exploding right in front of the judge's face. She's trying to keep it all together. All the defense counsel is making all these different motions to a mistrial, even though they're saying that they don't want it because of Hilton's cross-examination techniques, which are poor.
Very bad.
And the judge is even telling Hilton, hey man, you are coming so close to the line. You are really messing up. I'm not even going to allow you to ask these questions, these follow-up questions that you want. So the judge is really straining hard to keep this case together. It is falling apart right now under Hilton's questioning. And guys, remember, Hilton went to a good law school here, a great law school, Emory Law. Let me strike that. I don't know what law school she went to, but I know that apparently she gives classes. She's an adjunct professor at Emory Law School. So she teaches law students how to ask these questions, and she herself is getting slammed by the judge in open court. Right? Imagine if you were paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year to go to Emory, and these are your professors. What were you going to say, AB?
Yeah, I was going to say, because the purpose of redirect, especially if it's your witness, is you have to clean up mistakes that came out last week. Does it, like any of the questions that she's asking, does it fix the fact that there was a bad investigation done where Little Woody gave incorrect and false information, made people up to police officers, and they still did not follow up on those things? We found out last week through facts that two of the people were completely fabricated. Just made up, right? Does it show that she has good control over the witness or continued bad control over the
Shut
witness?
up, baby. We are back.
Go ahead, Ms. Hilton.
Mr. Copeland, after the video was released, did anyone from the state come and visit you after that October 2021 interview was released?
No, not that I remember.
What you mean?
On cross-examination, you were asked by Mr. Steele about the murder warrants that were taken out regarding the Donovan Thomas murder. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And you remember telling Mr. Steele that you never saw the warrants, but you were told about the warrants by your then attorney back in 20.
My lawyer came to jail and told me I was child murder.
Okay. And do you remember when your attorney came and spoke with you?
I was in the feds.
Okay. Were you ever brought to Fulton County Jail for those warrants?
I was in the feds.
Okay. Were you ever arrested on those warrants?
I was in the feds.
Were those warrants dismissed against you?
That's what I was told.
Okay. And is it fair to say that you have not or were not indicted for the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.? Is that fair to say?
I don't understand you.
Were you ever charged with the murder, like formally charged with the murder of Donovan Thomas?
Well, my lawyer came to jail and told me I've been charged with murder.
Okay. And did your lawyer also tell you that the case was dismissed against you?
Yeah, like at one point, I can't remember when.
Were you still in the feds?
I think so.
All right. Now, last week, Mr. Shard asked you about the false statements, arrest warrants that were taken out by the Fulton County Sheriff's Department. Do you remember him asking you about that?
Yes.
And it wasn't until last week that you found out that those charges were dismissed against you, correct?
When he told me this, when I knew. That's when I first time hearing about it.
Okay. Now, do you remember him showing you a document? Do you remember him showing you this document last week? Defense 27, Charlie?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember him asking you about Fonnie Wilson's name on here? Do you remember him asking you about whether or not her name was on there?
It's the same paper?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Did Fonnie Wilson sign this document?
How the fuck you know?
Whose name is on the bottom?
Mine? No. Something. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Does it say Kenneth Hutcherson?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that that's not my name, correct?
Now your name is Hilton.
Okay. That's not Ms. Love's name?
You just said the name.
Is it fair to say that no one over here talked to you about that case prior to did any of us ever tell you that your charges would be dismissed if you testified? That those charges would be dismissed against you if you testified?
The same objection. There's no alternate witness now.
Oh, the same objection as before. She's just overruled.
Did anyone talk to you about those dismissal of those charges in exchange for your testimony?
I didn't know nothing about the charge till he told me about it.
So it's fair to say that you are not testifying here today because in exchange for your testimony for dismissal of those charges.
I'm testifying here by force.
Okay. Now, on cross last week, you were asked by Mr. Steele, excuse me, let me ask you this. Do you remember Mr. Steele showing you a number of video clips last week from your from your interviews from June of 2015?
Yes.
And then he also showed you clips from your interview in January of 2015 as well.
He showed my interrogations.
Okay. And do you recall being asked by Mr. Steele on cross whether the district attorney or the police or anybody ever came back to tell you or confirm with you things that you said? Do you remember him asking you a lot?
I don't get what you're saying.
Sure. Do you remember Mr. Steele asking you whether or not the state of Georgia, the police, or if anyone ever came back and showed you a 911 call? Do you remember him asking you about that?
Yes.
Do you remember him asking you if anyone ever came back and told you that they talked to Valerie?
He asked me no questions.
Okay.
That's what you asked me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you remember him asking you multiple questions like that?
Well, he asked me a lot of questions.
Okay, God bless you. Now, let me ask you this. You served about 51 months in federal custody. Is that fair?
Yes, a little bit over, but...
After your release, did you want to speak with the Atlanta Police Department?
What you mean?
Once you were released from custody, did you want to meet with the Atlanta Police Department?
They never tried to reach me.
Okay. Did anyone from the state, the police, or anyone ever tell you that they found shell casings on a side street on January 6, 2015?
Say that again?
Did anyone from either the police department, the state of Georgia, ever tell you that they found I'm gonna strike that question, Your Honor.
Okay.
Did anyone ever come from the state of Georgia, from the police? Did anyone ever tell you about the Hertz rental car records that you were shown a few weeks ago?
Nobody never said that to me.
Okay. Did anyone ever from the police department or the state of Georgia ever showed you the surveillance video that you saw last week?
Which one?
The surveillance video, God bless you, at the gas station.
Say that again?
The surveillance video at the gas station.
You said what about it?
Did anyone ever show you that before you saw it in court last week?
Yeah, I seen it before.
Where'd you see it?
On the news.
Okay. Did you ever come into the police department to see it?
I never, no.
Okay. Did anyone from the police department, the state of Georgia, ever show you telephone records that they received?
The police just asked me questions.
Okay. Did anyone ever show you your telephone records from 2015?
No.
Did anyone from the state of Georgia ever show you cell phone records from NARD that they may have received?
Which NARD?
Demise McMullen.
You say that again?
Did anyone ever show you any phone records from Demise McMullen, also known as NARD, that they may have received?
What you mean? With me and him talking?
Did anyone ever show you any telephone records, period, that came from NARD?
Y'all can't, because NARD don't got my number. I don't know nothing about what you're talking about.
I'm just asking, did anyone ever show you any telephone records?
No.
Okay. Did anyone ever show you any telephone records from Duwop's phone?
Nobody never showed me no telephone, nothing.
Did anyone ever play any calls from jail with Duke and Javorce Bradford or Tuda?
How I supposed to know?
Did anyone ever play that for you?
Oh, no.
Did anyone ever show you telephone records from OG Bentley?
No.
Did anyone ever show you any phone records from Thug?
Who?
Thug.
No.
Did anyone ever play any phone calls from Shannon Stillwell for you?
You showed me.
I showed you, I played for you a telephone call with Shannon?
The visitation.
Not the visitation, a phone call. Did anyone ever play for you a jail call with a phone call with Shannon?
No.
Okay. Just because you didn't see these things, does that mean that these things do not exist?
Huh?
Just because you never saw these things doesn't mean that it does not exist.
I supposed to know.
Okay. Now, Mr. Copeland, on cross-examination, you were asked by Mr. Steele about the fight at Club Crucial. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember also testifying on cross-examination that you spun out in the Infinity with Quindarius Zachary?
I don't know nothing about that. I don't recall. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay. Do you remember testifying last week that you were in the Infinity a few days before Nutt's murder and it spun out on the highway?
What you asking me?
Your Honor, I object to the form of the question.
It's apparently you're not the only one that objects to it. Mr. Copeland does not understand what you're trying to ask him. Rephrase the question.
Sure. Last week, do you remember being asked by either Mr. Steele or Mr. Shard about the Infinity spinning out on the highway a few days before Nutt's murder?
Object to a few days before, Your Honor.
Why don't you just try to ask it maybe in pieces?
Do you remember last week being asked about the Infinity spinning out on the highway?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And did that spin out happen right before Nutt's murder?
What you mean? What you saying right before it happened?
Do you remember telling last week during cross-examination?
I remember saying that. I read the card and I gave you the threat.
All right. And then you also remember you gave Threat the car at the studio the night before Nutt's murder, correct? You remember giving the car to Threat the night before Nutt's murder, correct?
I'm listening.
Is that a yes? You remember that?
I remember getting threat the car and leaving.
Okay. And you also remember stealing Nutt's chain, correct?
I ain't steal nothing.
Or do you remember taking Nutt's chain out of the car?
What about it?
Do you remember testifying that you remember that last week?
I remember.
And that you testified from memory that you gave him back the chain, correct?
Yes, I did.
All right. But the only thing you don't remember now is what Little D told you in the car at the McDonald's. Is that fair to say?
It's not remember. It's like I told you, I made it up. Lil D didn't get in the car and tell me that.
And is it only now in 2024 that it's convenient that you don't remember what D told you, or that D did not tell you anything inside of that car?
Because I didn't think I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal. I just, if I knew that it would have did all of this, I wouldn't even, you know what I mean? Like, damn, man, I keep telling y'all.
Do you remember on cross-examination, Mr. Steele asking you about the shooting at the gambling house?
I done been involved in so many shootings, man. Like, you got to be more specific.
The shooting at the gambling house that happened the week before Nutt passed away. Do you remember talking to Mr. Steele about that?
He was more specific, and I'm asking, can you be more specific?
Sure. Do you remember Mr. Steele asking you if you heard a 911 call from the shooting at the gambling house where Thug's car got shot at?
I remember he asked.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Thug ever get his car window fixed?
To my knowledge, did he ever get his car fixed?
Get the car window fixed.
I never seen a bullet hole in his car.
So are you saying that you never saw the window get shot out at the gambling center?
When the night that happened, I was so mad. Shit, by the time I noticed he was gone, I didn't even, I don't know.
Now, do you remember last week on Cross that Mr. Steele showed you the surveillance video from the Texaco gas station?
Yes.
And do you remember him asking you whether or not you saw Thug get out the car?
I'm listening.
Do you remember him asking you that?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember, I believe Mr. Shard also asking you if you saw Shannon get out the vehicle? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember them asking.
Okay. First, let me ask you, did you or Thug get the car window tinted on the Infiniti after you rented it from the Hertz rental facility?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you don't know if you got it tinted?
I don't even think the car had tinted windows on it. I can't remember if it had tinted windows on there or not.
I'm asking, did you or Thug go get the windows tinted?
I don't know if the car was tinted. Like, I don't know. I can't remember if the car was tinted or not.
Now, on the night of Donovan Thomas's murder, it's fair you were not at the gas station that night, correct?
I told y'all I was at my baby mama's house.
Okay. And you only told the police what Little D from Mechanicsville told you, correct?
I told the police whatever to get them out for me.
Okay. And in that interview, you told the police that Little D told you that they switched cars at the gas station, correct?
Excuse me. You say that again?
Sure. You told the police that Little D told you that they switched the cars at the gas station, correct?
I told the police whatever to get them out for me.
Do you know if they switched the cars behind the gas station?
How would I know?
Okay.
I just know when I looked at that video where they showed me last week, I didn't see nobody switch cars, so I felt that that'll prove that, you know what I mean, that I lied in the past. I can't speak on now, like.
But you only know what Demekion told you, correct?
He didn't tell me that. Now, if he would have told me that, I would have knew. So for example, let's say if they did switch cars at the gas station, the camera would show that. So I that's why I keep telling you, stop going in the past. I ain't trying to go to jail, but if you're gonna keep going in the past, I'm telling you, don't do that because I lied.
Okay. Do you know if there were cameras behind the gas station?
To my understanding, there's cameras all over them.
I'm asking you specifically, do you know if there were cameras behind the gas station?
You gotta go ask the gas station and see.
Now, on cross-examination, Mr. Steele asked you, or you told Mr. Steele that Thug encouraged you to speak to the police on the night of the murder. Is that fair to say?
I don't recall telling him that. I don't know.
Let me ask you, did Thug take you down to the police department to go talk to the police?
No.
On the same night of Donovan Thomas's murder, your family's house was targeted, correct?
My baby mother's house was.
And to your knowledge, Mr. Williams or Thug's stepfather's house was targeted, correct?
To my knowledge, I don't know. I don't have a clue. Still to this day, I don't know.
Now, on cross-examination, you told defense counsel that you had multiple phones back in January of 2015. Is that fair?
I did.
Okay.
I had two, not multiple.
You had two phones. Now, I'm going to show you a screenshot of Stacey Exhibit 378 Yankee Alpha.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
Can you cut the air down just a little bit?
What?
The air.
As in hotter or colder?
It's freezing. Thank you so much.
Now, do you see this screenshot of 378 Yankee Alpha?
Yes.
And is that a phone in your hand?
Yes.
Correct. And I'm going to also show you a screenshot from 378 Yankee Bravo. And do you have a cell phone in that picture as well?
So I guess so.
Now, when you said you had two phones, did you have one phone that was your primary phone?
Can you be more, what you mean?
Is there one phone that you use more than the other phone?
I got both of them for the same purpose.
What was the same purpose?
To use them.
Okay. Is there one phone that you called Deshaun on primarily?
I call on both phones if I had to.
Okay. What about calling your brother Trez?
I treated both phones the same.
Okay. Do you remember the phone number for both phones?
I actually got locked up with the other phone.
When did you get locked up with the other phone?
For my probation violation.
Okay. The phone that you showed Detective Thorpe on January 11th, that is the phone that you had with you the night of Donovan Thompson's murder, correct?
Can you say it again?
The phone that you showed Detective Thorpe, that is the phone you had with you the night of Donovan Thompson's murder, correct?
Yes. That's my one I showed in the interview?
Yes.
Yes.
And that is the phone number that you gave him for the night of Donovan Thompson's murder, correct?
I don't know which phone number I gave him. I can't just say yeah or no to that.
Now, do you remember, we talked about this earlier, Mr. Steele playing for you a jail call from December of 2022. Do you remember that?
December 22?
Yes, when you were in the Fayette County Jail?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember in that call talking to your, I believe it was your sister, about Yak overhearing a conversation that you had?
Yes.
Okay. And that Yak was in the bedroom, I believe, with your cousin, and you were talking to someone else, and he overheard that conversation. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And you were concerned that he was going to tell people about the conversation he overheard. Do you remember that?
I wasn't concerned. I try to be more secretive about whatever I got going on.
What was the conversation that you were having that you were concerned he was going to go back and tell?
I don't think you heard me. I like to be secretive about my conversation.
Okay. Well, let's play Defense Exhibit 250E. And we're going to only play from 425 to 559.
I need to put the headphones on?
Yes, please.
It's working now?
It should be.
I mean,
It's not working.
yeah.
Try putting it. Is it showing up on your computer?
It's right here, but I hear it out loud. I want to hear it in through these. Let me take it out, put it back in.
It should be. Are you on the Zoom? Can you see that same screen?
Can I? It's right here.
That same screen is on your computer?
Mm-hmm.
Overheard me and somebody else having a conversation.
No.
Know what I mean? So
Hello, this is a prepaid.
Last week, it seemed to just take it a minute before it would play on there. And also, where are the good headphones that were around a few weeks ago? Anybody know?
We were still looking for them, Your Honor. I think it got carted away with the other.
I think so too, but yeah, that might help also.
We are trying to find those because.
All right.
As well. Good, thank you. Okay. Like I said, we're only gonna play 450.
Yeah, I can hear it.
550 now.
I mean, and then Jet had overheard me and somebody else having a conversation. Know what I mean? So he was in sister house. Yeah, this nigga was late. No, sister house, cuz.
Oh.
This nigga was laid up in her bed, and I was in the living room. I was in the living room telling nigga. I was telling my partner, like, man, look, man, these fuck niggas got, this and then third. I'm telling him what's going on. Like, these fuck niggas playing on me. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm telling him that these niggas playing on me, this nigga hit the whole conversation and come out the room.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see him, my mouth drunk. I'm like, what? You feel me? Like, so when he heard the whole conversation, I'm just like, shit, fuck it. Now, I mean, I already know he could go back and let them niggas know what's him. Like, he tried to tell me that what I was talking about, I was wrong. I ain't know what I was talking about. I'm like, yeah, I do know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I ain't stupid.
That's too crazy. There's a girl, I said, that's too crazy as hell. Y'all need to put them up for my bitch.
Then after that, then what's his name went to kind of posting on his Instagram page and try to come back around. Man, I ain't come back around y'all niggas. I knew y'all got playing. Come on, man. Y'all niggas crazy here thinking I'm stupid.
Now, Mr. Copeland, what conversations were you having such that you were concerned that he was going to go back, he being Yak was going to go back and tell people about the conversation you were having?
What you mean?
What were you talking about to your friend that he overheard that you were concerned they were going to go back and tell?
I was planning on doing something to somebody. That's what I said.
Then, in the call, didn't you tell your sister that you said, I was in the living room telling this N-word, telling my partner, like, F these N-words, this, that, and the third. I'm telling him what's going on, that they plotting on me. You feel me? When I'm telling him that these N-words are plotting on me, this N-word Yak hear the whole conversation, and he came out the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, who did you think was plotting on you?
Then I tell you, I like to I think they was planning on me.
Who's the they?
Mr. Williams.
Okay.
That's why I said.
And you were concerned that Yak was going to go back and tell Mr. Williams and them what you were telling your friend?
I wasn't concerned about him going back and telling me. I really was debating, should I let him leave?
Okay. Did you tell Yak, I already know that you fixing to go back and tell them what happened? And he tried to tell you, I'm not going to do that.
Me and my friend was looking at each other, trying to debate On what we had going on right then and there.
And it's safe to say that you didn't do anything. Yak left the room, correct?
Yes.
Now, also, during the same call, and even in the course of your testimony, you said that you lied on Thug. Do you remember testifying to that multiple times?
I told you that.
What are the lies that you've told on Thug?
I put a lot of blame on him that I know that I should never did. If I, like I said, if I knew that it would have caused all these problems right here, I would never did it. But I told you I was going through a dark phase in my life. And at the time, I didn't care about none of the choices I made in life. And through the midst of, I was going through that phase, I had my little girl, and she gave me a purpose. So, I'm done.
No, are you done? But specifically, you keep saying that I told these lies because I thought it would get me out of trouble. So what are the lies that you told on Thug that you thought was going to get you out of trouble?
Whatever the police wanted me to say. If they brought his name up, about anything, I didn't care if he could have been in another country. I would have said he's right there, and he did it. Like he had something to do with it because they made me feel like they wanted him, and they only got me because of the stupid stuff that I done. And if I could get them something to help them out about him, then they'll let me go. And that's what I kept doing. And the whole time, they knew that I was just doing it, and they didn't care.
So let's talk about some of the things you told the police about Thug, okay? Do you recall that you told the police that Thug's window was being shot out? That Thug's window was shot out at the gambling house?
I think I said it in the interview.
Do you recall that you told the police about Mo and other Bloods wanting to harm you and Thug?
I think I probably did.
You told the police about a concert with Thug and Rich Homie Quan?
I probably did.
You told the police that Thug gave you money to hold?
What you mean by that? Be more specific.
Sure. You told Thug that he may have one time given you $1,000, but like that you could keep, but he may have given you $300,000 that you could flash.
That nigga ain't never gave me. I mean, excuse my language, but he never gave me $300,000 to flash.
Okay. But it's fair to say you told him he gave you some money to hold.
What you mean?
He gave you money to flex with, to flash with.
As we together?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you told the police, correct?
Yeah, I ain't gonna tell them it was my money.
At some point, did you tell the police Thug just gave you money that you could flash in the club?
Right. So the police asked me where I get all this money from. My job is to lie to the police. That's how I was raised up. I'm not gonna tell them that, oh, I break in stores or I do this and I do that. I'm gonna tell them that, hey, he's legit. It's still money. If I knew that it was gonna backfire me, I would never said that.
You also told the police that you didn't know what beef Thug and Nut had, correct?
I probably did.
You told the police that Thug rented the Infinity.
I did.
You told the police that on the night of Donovan Thomas's murder, that Thug got into another car with a girl and Little D, correct?
That might be one of the stories I told him. I can't be specific if that's what I said.
You told the police that Thug was not in the Infinity at the time of the murder, correct?
I probably did.
You never told police that Thug shot anyone. Is that fair to say?
Huh?
You never told the police that Thug shot anyone, correct?
Yeah, I did.
No.
I told the police.
You never told the police that Thug shot Nut, correct?
Oh, no, I don't think I told them that.
You never told the police that Thug was driving the Infinity at the time of Nut's murder, correct?
I didn't tell them that either. Okay. It wouldn't make sense to tell them that.
You never told police that Thug was bragging on the murder of Nut, like Nar and Dolly, correct?
Huh?
You never told the police that Thug bragged on Nuts' murder, correct?
I never heard nobody bragging on it.
You told the police that Nar and Dolly bragged on Nuts' murder, correct?
No.
So everything that you told the police that we just went over, which one was the finesse?
The one that make more sense, where you take a little bit where you know that they can prove, and then
But if you're trying to finesse
put the
them,
twist on it.
okay, if you're trying to finesse them to get out of jail, why not say Thug was bragging about the murder?
Why not say he brag about the murder? What you mean?
Why wouldn't that be believable?
Who brags about the murder?
Okay. Why wouldn't you say that Thug was driving the Infinity at the time of the murder? He rented it.
Because I'm talking to Gaither and Dennis. Like, I've been dealing with them for a long time. I know they're a long way from stupid.
Right, but that's believable. He rented the car, so why not tell them that?
That's testimony on behalf of her founder.
Rephrase your question.
Sure. If you're trying to finesse the police, why not tell them that Thug was driving the car?
Because think about this. This man, the multi-millionaire superstar. If I go in the police station and be like, yeah, Thug was a getaway driver in the killing of a nut, they gonna look at me like I'm stupid.
But he rented the car, didn't he?
And why would you rent a car to commit a murder in?
But you told the police that he rented the car, correct?
But there's something I know that they can prove.
All right.
They can prove that he rented the car. But I don't know if it was this car that was used in the murder.
Why not, if you were just trying to finesse the police and you didn't care if they were going to verify what you said, why not make up the beef that Thug and Nut had?
Because you got to get this. You got to, like I said, you got to get the facts together. You got to get stuff where you know they can go back and see. Like, for instance, okay, they jumped on me in the club. Everybody know they jumped on me in the club. So I can say, hey, they punched me in my face. That happened. Then I can say, oh, okay, something that didn't happen. They can't prove that this ain't happened or they did happen.
Right. And you wanted to tell them things that they could verify, correct?
Can you say that again?
And you wanted to make sure you told the police things that they could verify, correct?
I'm trying to make the police believe that I can help them. And if they let me go, that's what I'm willing to do. So every time, let's say the time they didn't let me go, you see, I never came back and helped them. When I told them I'd get them their gun back, what they had to bring a SWAT team to get me. So anytime they let me go, they knew I wasn't coming back.
Okay. On cross-examination, you talked about a meeting that you had with your lawyer and the U.S. attorneys back in 2015. Do you remember telling Mr. I believe Steele about a meeting that you had with your lawyer and the U.S. attorneys back in 2015 or sometime during that period?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember telling Mr. Steele that there were some APD officers present when you were going to have that meeting with your lawyer and the U.S. attorneys?
Yes.
What APD officers were there?
Gaither and Dennis, and it was another lady, but I don't know her name. And it was the ATF agent. It was everybody who was in the interrogation room.
You mean interrogation room in that June interview?
When they locked me up.
Okay. Do you remember how long you were in the feds before you were going to have that meeting?
It was like probably the first couple months because I found my lawyer right out the rip.
And why did you fire your lawyer?
Because he was working with the state. He was trying to work with the police.
And when you say he was trying to work with the police, what was your understanding of what he was trying to do?
He was trying to get me to do whatever they wanted me to do.
When you say he was trying to get them to do what you wanted?
He was trying to get me to work for the police.
And was that going to be in exchange for a reduction in your sentence?
That's what he told me. He told me that if I go down there and talk with them, they'll throw my case out. But he didn't say it. Like, he lied to me how he said it, but he was like, when you go to court, I mean, we just gonna get this case swept under the rug. But when I got down there, it was all the police, they locked me up and I got mad.
And then you decided not to move forward with whatever the agreement was.
Yeah, because I seen it got real, and I knew what I had done.
Now, last week on cross-examination and on direct, you testified that YSL is not a gang, correct?
And it still ain't a game.
And you testified that it was a music label, correct?
Well, that's the purpose of it.
Okay. And it's a music label that you were never signed to, correct?
Clearly.
Okay. And you never done any songs with Thug, correct?
I haven't.
All right. Now, on cross-examination, do you remember Mrs. Steele playing a portion of the On the Porch video?
Out the porch.
Off the porch, excuse me, thank you for correcting me. The Off the Porch video with you?
Yes.
And that was Defense Exhibit JW246 for the record. Now, that's a blog for up-and-coming artists, correct?
Yes.
And you talk about music?
Yes.
Right. And you talk about life growing up, correct?
I think so.
Now, the portion that Mr. Steele played, was that was the portion when you called yourself a gangster and said that you would slap people in the face if they tried you or something like that. Do you recall him playing that portion of the clip for you?
Yes.
But that was not the entirety of that interview. Is that fair?
No.
Okay. I want to play for you a few portions, okay?
Put the headphones on?
Yes, please. I'm going to first start playing Defense Exhibit JW246, starting at 00 and ending at 007.
Yeah, they little Woody Freehand Entertainment. Just jumped out of the pool with Dirty Glove Best. Slap YSL for life.
Now, there you said slap YSL for life, correct?
Yes.
And again, you were never signed to YSL the label, right?
Not.
Okay. And slap means slime love all the time, correct?
Slap means slap.
Slime love all the time?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Now I want to play JW246 at 9:15 to 9:47.
Yeah. And you dropped a music video for that song too. Was that your first music video you shot?
Yeah, first one ever.
Yeah. How'd you think that turned out?
It was fun. It turned out great. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. I like it. Still watch it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you rep YS. And you dropped a music video for that song too. Was that your first music video you shot?
Yeah, first one ever.
Yeah. How'd you think that turned out?
It was fun. It turned out great. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. I like it. Still watch it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you rep YSL a lot in your music.
Gang.
How far back does your relationship with them go?
Yeah, still.
When he said rep, he asked you if you rep YSL in your music. You said gang, correct?
No, I said game.
Why would you say gang?
Game, like I wanted to be a part of YSL. I wanted, like, on the papers, I wanted to be a YSL artist.
This interview was done in 2020, correct?
One of them years.
Okay. Is it fair to say this is after you got out the feds, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. And at this point, you had known Thug for a number of years, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was fair to say at some point in time y'all were friends.
Yes.
Okay. And even at this point, you still were not signed to YSL the label, correct?
But me and him spoken about it.
Okay.
And he just told me I had to convince him that this is what I really wanted to do.
And you still aren't signed to the label, correct?
I had went back to jail.
All right. I'm going to play the last section, which is 2010 to 2040.
Other than that, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, any last words or shout outs before we get you out of here?
Shit, you know, shout out to the game. YSL for life. You know what I mean? Shout out my nigga Munt, Ralph, you know, Threat. You know what I mean? For the ops. You know what I mean?
You said shout out to the gang, YSL, some other people, Threat, and then fuck the ops.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the ops?
The ops.
The ops of another record label?
No, my ops. Fuck them.
All right. But this is after you talked about shout out to the gang, YSL, correct?
I said shout out to the gang. Then I said YSL. I said fuck the ops.
When you said shout out to the gang, YSL, you're not talking about the music label, correct?
Which, can you say that again?
You're not talking about the music label, correct?
I don't get what you're asking.
When you said shout out to the gang, YSL, you're not talking about the music label, correct?
I'm pretty sure I know you're not you're not in the streets, but you keep sticking on this gang stuff, and I don't know how much it's gonna take to convince you that when you're a gang, you can't be 2-3 different gangs or sets of members. Like, again, you can't be YSL, the gang in your voice, and be a blood. Because let's say if YSL is a gang and YSL get into it with blood gang members, you got to pick. So what you gonna do? You're blood or you YSL? It don't make sense. And if you're a blood's not gonna let you be YSL. If it's a gang, just like with Crips or just like anything else.
But you gave up being a blood, correct?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So when it said YSL for life, gang, that's who you rep now.
No,
correct?
I said, no, I always been 30 deep when I was a gang member. But 30 deep is not a gang, you know what I mean? It's just my neighborhood. A gang in Atlanta is Bloods, Crips, GDs, or whatever. And let me correct that. To certain people, it's not a gang to them, but y'all trying to say YSL when you know, Atlanta, we monkey see, monkey do. We see people doing something, we want to be a part of it. We want to represent it. We want to say it. If you see that most of these people in the courtrooms don't got no ties to me, I never seen them before. So you can't say it's a gang. A gang, everybody know who he is. Everybody, we rock together. A lot of these guys, we don't did stuff to each other.
And it's in the same video where you called yourself a gangster, correct? That's the portion that Mr. Steele paid for you last week, right?
It's entertainment.
All right. Now, on cross-examination, Mr. Steele played for you a portion of that jail call with you, Max, Thug, and Deshaun. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember the portion of the call that he played for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I remember some of it.
All right. I'm going to show you. It's going to be stationed at 405Y.
I got to listen to it.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'd like to go through a jail call that the state played for you, Ms. Hilton played for you earlier this week. It's, Your Honor, it's already in evidence. It's State's Exhibit number 295Y. And specifically, Your Honor, starts at 128. And just to orient the jurors, this should be the 13th day of June of 2015. So 13th day of June 2015. And I believe you said that you're on the phone, and there's other people on the phone too, but Jeffrey's sister, you identified her, or she'd been identified as Max, and then Jeffrey in the background, maybe his voice on the phone, is on the call. I'd like to just play that short snippet, okay? I can't hear that. I don't think it's playing. Hello. Wait. What's up, Woody? Yeah. Look, John, yeah, he got fun. John? Yeah. How much the money is? 15,000. But I go to a bar and kind of bar come home by 15. You found the button company? I'm on lockdown, so they don't let me out one time a day. But my brother there did. You just when he hang up, click on call his brother and I'm so his brother so he get his money. Is your brother no, I'm saying call his brother on Friday. Yeah, Deshaun, where you at? I'm at home. You don't got no ride? I could get your brother friend. Meet me on University. On University where? That gas station you already. You know what that gas station at Chevron. Meet me at Chevron. Hey, man. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. What did he do? I'm gonna say too much. He told what I did. Well, you come out rock. Yeah. You told on Roscoe too. You say don't fucking play, bro. You told on Roscoe. You told on Roscoe just like he Roscoe ain't no fucking blood. You don't give a fuck. I don't agree. Hey, these guys come up and come meet you so you get their money. Go pay with the bond so you can get out, bro. And when you get out with it, I can have him talk to you. I really feel some type of way. I'm gonna talk to you about it so you get out. Man, listen, man, I'm starting this shit. I ain't playing with you. I ain't fucking playing with you either. God's fucking birthday on the way. What's wrong with you? Yeah. I appreciate it. Tell you, bro, I love you. He hear you? You gotta get this motherfucker mind together. He said you gotta get your mind together, bro. How you been sick? Man, bro, I've been left out there. I ain't had nobody, bro. I just feel like nigga left me out there. I ain't did shit. You ain't never out there alone. You just want to be out there pushing the bro. We ain't fucked up no more. You ain't got to be out there pretending to be. Shit, I had no choice. That way gonna get you time.
That's it.
Yes. And that is where Mr. Steele ended the call. Do you remember that from last week?
Yes, that was last week.
Okay. Now, a few things. Do you recall last week Mr. Steele asking you when you all were talking about Little D? Do you remember him asking you if Thug said anything when you all were talking about Little D? Do you remember him asking you that?
Shoot. I don't know when I brought Lil D name up.
Okay. Do you remember Mr. Steele asking you, though, specifically, if you heard Thug say anything when you mentioned Little D on that phone call?
I don't get what you're asking me.
Sure. Last week, after Mr. Steele played that call for you,
yes.
Do you remember him asking you some questions after he played that call for you?
Yes.
And do you remember him asking you whether or not Thug said anything after you talked about Little D in the jail call?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember your response being no, Thug did not say anything?
He didn't. I didn't hear him say anything.
Is that not Thug who says Little D, that pussy ass told?
Oh, you gotta play it again. I didn't hear that.
All right, I'd like to go through.
You playing the whole thing, go?
The jail call should be the 13th day of June. Other people on the phone too, but Jeff on the phone. It's on the.
Can I speak?
After
I can't hear me. I don't think it's playing.
Wait. I know you got it.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah. Look, John. Yeah, he got fun. John. Yeah. How much the money?
15,000. But I go to a bond, kind of bond come about 15.
You found the button company?
I'm on lockdown, so they don't let me out one time a day. But my brother there did.
You guys when he hang up, please don't call his brother and so his brother so he give you money. If your brother don't, no, I'm saying call his brother don't sign it. Yeah, John, where you at? I'm at home. You ain't got no ride? I could get your brother friend. Meet me on University. On University what? That gas station you already. You know where that gas station is? Meet me at Chevron.
Hey, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What did he do?
I'm gonna say too much, man.
Be told what that is.
Well, you come out rock.
Yeah.
You told him rock.
Did you hear? We said D told pussy ass.
Probably, yeah, I heard it.
Okay. Is that not Thug who said that?
I can't say 100% if that was him or somebody else. I can't say, but I heard it.
Okay. Now.
But me going to jail was for a gun that he bought for me. So throughout the interviews, you'll see that they just be me breaking my mojo. I mean, Lil D name was never brought up for me to say he ain't right. That's proof of me lying, and I'm pointing it out to you.
Were you saying that Little D wasn't right because you wanted him to claim the gun from the Dunbar Center?
No, I was saying Lil D wasn't right because I'm trying to manipulate everybody.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Steele, when he played the call for you, he ended the call, but that was before Max actually got off the phone. Is that correct?
What you mean?
When he stopped the call, that wasn't the entirety of when Max was on the phone with you, correct?
He played the call. I listened to it.
Okay. I want to play for you 378 Yankee Echo, and we're going to start at 3:48. And my apologies for the record. We're going to be playing 395 Yankee. Starting at about 350.
You ain't never out there alone. You just want to be out there in the trenches. And bro, we ain't fucked up no more. You ain't got to be hanging out there in Canterville.
Shit, I had no choice.
That wasn't gonna get you time. Canterville, out there in them apartments. I keep telling you that.
Yeah.
And what's that shit, bro? Hey, you got to realize, swear to God, we killed nuts, so they gonna stay on you.
Yeah.
Smoke nuts.
Hello?
Stay away from that shit, bro. You just don't know it be your hood, bro. Your hood scares you, bro. Trust me, your hood is the main hood. Them the main people that want to have you fucked up before anybody else on the street do. Dude, I'm telling you, play scared of you.
I already know.
You gotta stay away from that shit. You got a little girl now. I've been telling you that shit. Cause I ain't even gonna lie. I was just mad at your ass, bro. On my mom,
you
you
getting the phone going out for me like I don't did something wrong, bro.
Yeah. Call Mac. Motherfucker.
Man, you know Valerie told me that.
But I'm saying you listen big bad. They call my phone 20 times, bro. Dude, I'm telling you, they hoes just call my phone 20 times. No call ID, then we get right in the car. You walk past me like you're a boss. Bitch, I got it on me, that fake ass weave in your head, ho. I just drop your ass. And I got my pistol on me too, ho. Don't try me, fuck wrong with you. I bet hoes don't be listening to this fat ass hoe. She wanna keep up drama, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, man, this hoe just told somebody look jig on her house. Don't listen to her.
You finished?
Yes. So the portion that Mr. Steele did not play was when Max said, "Swear to God, we killed Nut." Correct?
What you mean?
I played for you the clip.
I heard you. I don't get what your question is.
The portion that was not played was when Max said, "Swear to God, we killed Nut."
She said they swear to God we killed Nut. But if that's what you want her to say, then
That's what the recording says. Swear to God. I'll rephrase, Your Honor.
Sustained. Rephrase.
In the interview, did you hear, "Swear to God, we killed Nut"? I mean, in the jail call, excuse me.
I'm telling you what she said. I mean, I talk to her on a daily basis. Like, I might not can't hear, but I can I can understand street talk slang, and she saying what they saying in the streets. They swear to God we killed Nut.
Did you hear the person in the background said, "We smoked Nut"?
You gotta play it again. I didn't hear that. I mean, but I never heard of that.
Okay, we'll play that. That's that portion for you.
Thank you. I want to hear the whole thing.
Yeah, I got them Canterville.
Shit, I had no choice.
That wasn't gonna get you time, Canterville. I damn them apartment. I keep telling you that.
Yeah.
And what's that shit, bro? It be, hey, you gotta realize, yeah, swear to God, we killed Nut, so they gonna stay on you.
Yeah. Hello?
Stay away from
Can you play it again? It was so fast. Not the whole thing. I can't.
Yeah, we're just gonna play that portion for you.
That wasn't gonna get you time, Canterville. I damn them apartment. I keep telling you that.
Yeah.
And what's that shit, bro? It be, hey, you gotta realize, yeah, swear to God, we killed Nut, so they gonna stay on you.
Yeah. Hello?
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay. Let me ask you, who is the we?
Huh?
Who is the we?
See, you hear what she said? They gonna stay on me. Like, I don't know.
He says, "Swear to God, we killed Nut." Who is the we?
Ask Dolly.
I'm asking you.
This
Sustained.
Why didn't you ask her, what we are we talking about?
because that's what the streets are saying.
So who is the we?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
You didn't ask, why didn't you get clarification as to who she was talking about?
Because I heard it in the streets myself.
Okay. So when you heard it in the streets, what did you hear in the streets?
Sustained.
When Dolly is talking to you, is this when you were being shot at because people thought that you killed Nut?
I don't get what you mean. Can you be more specific?
when you told Dolly that it was people were coming after you, was this because people thought that you had something to do with Nuts' murder?
Sustained.
Why did you think people were coming after you?
It's more the police that I was really speaking on coming after me. It's like every time I did something, they was popping up. Like, I wasn't worrying about nobody in the streets. It was the police. So that's why I kept saying it come after me. I was going to jail for charges I didn't even commit, crimes I didn't even do. Like, that's why I was telling her, like, I ain't got nobody. I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no money to get myself no lawyer. No. Every time I come outside, the police locking me up. I actually went to jail in a county I never even been to.
When you heard her say, either according to you, you think or they think we killed Nut, who did you understand the we to be?
Shit, they kept telling me. They kept saying me and these people on the west side, me and Thug, me and Monton, me Doc and Head. They were tying me and everybody to it. So I knew she was talking about me and whatever the street saying. So,
and all those people you just named, those are all people who are associated with YSL, correct?
No.
All right. Now,
only people that was associated was Thug and Monton. And that's not that was, you know, y'all try to put a part of this. Now
you talked about at any point did they ever say that it was you and Dolly that killed Nut?
What you mean?
You said that they were saying it was me and Thug, me and Montel, me and this person.
I'm pretty sure you heard the rumors when it happened. You know what I mean? They put my name in there with everybody.
I'm asking you, did they ever put your name in there with Dolly?
I don't remember them saying it, so I can't say yeah or no to that.
Now, you've continuously talked about wanting to finesse people. Do you recall last week Mr. Steele showing you a clip from your interview when you were talking to Detective Dennis about Bloody J and having Bloody J and Thug become friends again? Do you remember him playing that exhibit for you?
Yes.
I'm going to play for you State's Exhibit 378, Yankee Echo at 10:40.
It's the same one?
No.
Jurors, when they're getting all these set up, because it seems to take a minute, if y'all want to stand up and stretch or anything, that'd be a good time to do that. I know it can get tedious sitting all day long. I do it all day long. Lawyers too. We're waiting on y'all, so when you're ready, go.
And 2015, that you tried to get Mr. Williams or Jeffrey, and do you know who Bloody J is? I heard of. Do you know the given name Justin Ussery, excuse me? Who are they? That's fine. I'm gonna use Bloody J, okay? Do you remember telling the police, and this is, Your Honor, JW240D, was in David State's exhibit number 378YE. It's June 10, 2015, meeting, interrogation, whatever, or conference, with law enforcement and Mr. Copeland. It's 10:40:37 a.m. to 10:41:08 a.m. And Mr. Copeland, tell us if you hear this, okay? And if it's not, you correct us. Detective Dennis tells you, so the night at Crucial, when you were saying they jumped on you, you said, when all the, I'm just not saying, but SHI blank popped off. So what happened, Mr. Detective Dennis, what happened when you came outside with Bloody J? Because you were saying last time that there's overlapping conversation, meaning I can't understand it, multiple people speaking. And you said, the Detective Dennis said, when you were trying to bring everybody back together. And the Detective Dennis said, you were like, is he ready? And Thug or Jeffrey kept saying, nah, he ain't ready. You remember that? That was Detective Dennis saying, you remember you told us that when you said it. You said, you mixing things up. You're talking about the time we was in when I called Bloody J and tried to get him and Jeffrey or Thug. You said, back, cool. That's what I'm targeting, okay? So please listen to it. If I said it wrong, just say it right. Your Honor, can Mr. Copeland listen to this, please? And the jury.
So the night at Crucial, that when you were saying they jumped on you, right? When all shit popped off. So what happened when you came outside with Bloody J? Because you were saying the last time when you were trying to bring everybody back together, you was like, be ready. And I stood and said, I ain't ready. You remember that? You remember told us that? When you said you're keeping it up. You talking about the time they made shit on that house that day. I tried to get him to throw that cool.
Remember saying that you were.
Now, in watching that video, do you see that you corrected Investigator Dennis when he had some facts wrong?
What you mean? You said, did I correct him?
Correct. Did you correct, in the interview, did you correct Investigator Dennis when he had some facts wrong?
Right, I'm listening.
So if you were trying to finesse the jury, why even correct him when he had something wrong?
I wasn't trying to finesse the jury. I was trying to finesse the police.
Correct. When you're trying to finesse the police, why correct him if he had something wrong?
Because they after me. And like I said, just when we going, one thing I know about Dennis, I know I got to come correct when I'm talking to him, so I got to. But Dennis, I know Dennis play games.
Right. So you said, when it comes in, you have to come correct. That's what you just said, right?
No, I'm saying, like, when I say come correct, I'm saying, like, I got to, it's harder convincing Dennis and Gaten. Like, you got to really make them believe, like.
Because they can see, like you said before, Gaither can see through your BS, correct?
Mm-mm. What I said before is that, like when I make up the names, I know that I can't come to Gaten with the names I done made up. She gonna already know I made them up. So it's different, like when I'm dealing with like different polices. When it come to Gaten, I gotta be more convincing than I will with Thorpe.
Okay. Also, let me ask you, in 2015, is it fair to say that you were closer to Shannon than you were with Duop?
With who?
With Duop.
If I was closer with Shannon than I was with Duop?
Yes.
I guess.
And matter of fact, Doo-Wop is Yak's friend, correct?
I'm cool with Doo-Wop.
But that's more Yak's friend than it is your friend. Is that fair to say?
I guess.
So if you're trying to finesse the police or mixing some truth with a little lie, then you would agree with me that the full truth doesn't matter, correct? Like if you're trying to mix in a little truth with a little lie, then the full truth doesn't matter, correct?
So my whole purpose was in the interview was my little girl birthday is coming up, and every time they got me, they would ask me questions and they would laugh and act like they was believing the stuff I was saying. So when they got me on June 10th, I didn't want to go to jail. I'm not scared of jail. You feel me? I know how to adapt to my environment. It's just the timing of when they got me. And my whole purpose was if I could convince these people that I work with them and I help them out and do whatever I do to let me go. And that's what my intention is. Y'all keep dragging me in here like I got facts. You know what I mean? And I don't.
I'm going to show you what's already been admitted at 60378 Yankee Echo at 534:49.
Do I listen to it or it's a picture or something?
I'm going to show you and you're going to listen to it.
Okay.
Or I'm going to ask you if you can listen to it, please.
Yak driving, Shannon with the AK, Nara with the pistol, and Doo-Wop with the pistol. Now, I don't think Doo-Wop had a pistol. Okay. All right. But you just know what seats, how everybody was sitting in the car, and all you know is that Yak was driving.
Yeah, I didn't know Yak. They said Yak was driving.
And that's based on what Mikion told you.
Yeah.
Lil D. Okay. Did they say that to anybody else or just y'all little circle?
And we're going to stop it at 535:18. In that clip, you clarified for the police who had guns, correct?
Again, if I wasn't there and Lil D wasn't there, how could we say what happened?
All right. Because you were telling them what Little D told you, correct?
But if Lil D wasn't there, how could he tell me what happened?
Okay. You told the detectives and you clarified that it was Shannon and Nar shooting a gun, Yak was driving, and Doo-Wop didn't have a gun. That's what you just told the police, correct?
Right.
All right. If you were just trying to tell them anything, why not tell the police that Doo-Wop had the gun?
Again, I can't, right now, everybody in this courtroom see what's going on in this courtroom. The people who's not in this courtroom, they can't say what's going on in this courtroom. So if Lil D say that this what happened in that car, he had to be in that car to know that. If I say that's what happened in the car, I have to be in that car to know that. Neither one of us in that car to know that. So it shows, again, that I'm just saying whatever.
Okay. I'm asking you, why would you tell the police or put the gun in your friend's hand when you could have put the gun in Doo-Wop's hand?
So, again, January they got me, February they got me, whatever month come out today they got me. They got me every month. I wasn't convincing neither of them times because they were locking me up or whatever. I wasn't convincing them, so I had to be more convincing. It ain't like it's just like, okay, let me put it on Doo-Wop or that. It's the spare of the moment. So in the spare of the moment, you gotta get them up off for you. You just gotta, off the top. Like, I wasn't, listen, Miss Hilton, I'm sorry. I mean, like, I don't mean no harm, but I wasn't there to be able to say what anybody had. And this just proof. I mean, no matter how many times you ask me, which ways you ask me, and it's just what it is.
And again, you're just telling the police what Little D told you, right?
Lil D can't tell me something that he ain't. If Lil D say I was in the car and this what happened, then okay, I say that. But if I'm sitting right here lying saying Lil D told me something that I know that he didn't tell me and he know that he didn't tell me, because for us to know that, we had to be there.
And the reason why you wanted to make sure you were accurate with what you told the police is...
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sure. The reason why you wanted to be as accurate as possible when you talk to the police is because they told you that they were going to try to verify what you were telling them, correct?
Well, when Nut got killed, the people on the scene was already saying what they saw. So, like I said, you just take pieces of what you hear, you know what I mean, and you put them together.
Now, last week, Mr. Shard talked to you about making up fictional characters. Do you recall that?
I think I just spoke on it.
Yeah. He asked you about making up Little Rick and Quez as it related to the stolen items that were found on June 10th, 2015.
I'm listening.
Do you remember him asking you about making up when you talked about Nut's chain? That he told you that you made that up as far as stealing Nut's chain and who stole Nut's chain?
I made somewhat to a certain extent, but the truth of the matter, I didn't steal it. The door was open. I keep telling you that.
Okay. He asked you about making up characters as it related to threat shooting up the barbershop. Do you remember him asking you about making up individuals regarding the barbershop being shot up?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay. So if you know how to make up people in those instances, why won't you just make up people for the night of Nut's murder in order to finesse your way out of getting in trouble?
So if you realize Gaither and them wasn't in front of me, so when Gaither and them did get in front of me, I know what I'm dealing with. And when it was in the investigator that I knew didn't know me, I could tell them anything. But when it's Gaither and them in front of me, I gotta convince them. Like I gotta convince them that to make them believe me. So just like for instance with Shannon, it was stupid that I put Mitch's name, cause I know Gaither gonna be like, Woody, really? When have you and Shannon never not been together? But it's just a roll of a dice.
Okay. Do you recall that it was Gaither who you told about Little Rick and Quez?
You confused. Say that again.
Do you recall that it was Gaither who you talked to about Little Rick and Quez?
So.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Do you recall it was Gaither who talked to about Little Mike and Quez?
Yes. Right. But I said they were from West Side.
Okay.
Ms. Hilton, how much longer do you think you anticipate on your redirect?
Probably about 20 minutes, Sharon.
All right,
maybe about 25 minutes.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. I have 2 jail calls, so it's going to be a little bit longer.
All right, let's break for lunch. Y'all be back at 1:30, please. All right, we were going to take up a matter at lunch that y'all got notice of, but I don't think that everybody got notice. So we're going to just try to reset that for maybe Friday. All right, anything before we break for our lunch? Yes.
Nothing related to AZAS court briefly with anybody.
Okay. Does it have to do with like scheduling or something? Okay, well, I'm not going to release everybody to go until they want to stay and hear it. Speaking of things that have nothing to do with the case, but have something to do with scheduling, Mr. Harvey, I want to see on an entirely different matter if you might be available on one of your other cases that is before me on a day that we're not going to be in court on this case. Come up here. So we'll see everybody back at 1:30.